Hey everybody, what's happening? I'm Tommy, and you are on the lifeboat. I hope you're doing well today. Shannon Smith, good to see you. Dale Cox, what's happening? Paula Bentley, how are you? Shelley Kelly, good to see you. Always an honor. Liz Tricks, what's happening? There's Kathy Ann and Shannon Smith, Sandy Wendy, Jane Aldrich. Wow, we got the crew here. Charlie Muffins is in the house. Scoob Lee, good to see you. DS Kitty, hi Diane. My computer's shaking all over the place here. Got it on a bad setup today. Bacon Bits Ben Turner, good to see you. Glad you're here. This is gonna be some old school fun. Judy Lee, what's happening? Jane Aldrich, lifeboat in the afternoon, right? We're getting a little lucky. I needed it. Hey, Cheeky, good to see you, Cheeky. Thinks Ben should be taking a cooking class. Okay, Just Joan, good to see you. All right, we're almost there, folks. I'm almost getting to that point where I can feel like I'm caught up, and at least I can start talking to people as they're coming in. Who would have thought? Roberta, good to see you. Oh, yeah, here they come. Joey Girl, good to see you. Nico, what's happening? Kestrel, there you are. Good to see you. Laura Lou, Heather in the library. I live for Pune, as in right now. Cheshire Cat. Thank you so much. I tattooed you on my arm. Lumen, good to see you. Mandy Albert, what's happening? Pause for Andrea. Usually don't make a live. Well, here you are. Rona Cooley, good to see you. Laker Dog, how are you? Snotface, Sweet Liberty. Gang. Lisa from Jersey's here. Cheeky, it's always an honor. Like to have you here from Canada. Gemini Girl 65. Good to have you here. Bacon Bits did a hell of an interview yesterday. People, if you haven't gotten a chance to go over and check it out, I would recommend doing it. It's a good one. I really enjoy the interviews he does. He's got asked questions that I never would have thought of, and I think that's awesome. Karen W., good to see you. Lavaki, hey Rose. Debbie Jules, hey from the Oregon coast. I did a little time on the Oregon coast. Rains a lot. I loved it though. I really did. I wasn't exactly on the coast, but I was pretty close to it. Sheridan, Oregon. I was at a prison in Sheridan, Oregon. Natalie Corley, good to see you. A Rolling Stone. No, you're not late. Jay Rambo, good to see you. Kelly Gerling, Layla. I'm glad you're here, Layla. Lisa Trimble. Hello, Lisa Trimble. West Coast Fancy Nancy. Catherine. Allison Metcalf Palumbo. Peanut Butter Pickles. Good to see you. Humble and Kind. Amazon did not like my P.O. box. Well, that sucks. I've never had a problem with Amazon in my P.O. box before. That's so odd. I'm sorry to hear that. I really am. Maria, good to have you here, Maria. I'm not sure if I've ever said hello to you. If I have, well, you get another one. But Greece, my girlfriend wants to go there. Joanne Ventrilla, good to see you. Catherine B, just me being me. Good to see you. Aunt KK, that would be Karen Pooley. Sarah Bowman, good to see you. Robin Miners. Tommy Bobami, there you go. See that? There are people here who have no idea what you're talking about because, we've got like 14 people that are not our age. We've got a couple of youngsters here. It's not many. Natalie Corley from Louisiana. Oh, I love Louisiana. Just as I am, good to see you. Louisiana, my favorite city in America. In fact, my favorite place on earth is probably New Orleans. I'm a big fan of that city. Always have been. VT Kitten, good to see you. Quick Fox. Jeremy Fowler, how are you, bud? I think we have both Fancy Nancy's. Is that possible? I think we do. Terry, how are you? Shout out to our mods. Beata, good to see you. Hey, new member, Lydia Krause. Thank you so much. You look fantastic in green. Big shout out to our mods. Hi, Rose. Our mods work really hard. And I don't know how much you guys understand the big red button. Jessica, why not? How are you? But the less people or the more polarizing you are, the harder that your mods have to work. What I was going to say is the more people that hate you, the harder your mods have to work. But the truth is, the vast majority of people, I really have a pretty great crew that are fairly fond of me. There's just a handful that aren't, and you guys really do a great job of protecting everybody in the chat from lowlifes out there that don't have connection in mind. Puka Vista, good to see you. Yes, do hit that like button, people. Smack the crap out of it. We need it. DJ Daddy-O, good to see you, my brother. I'm glad you're here. I hope your boy's doing well. Please do me a favor and give him my best, would you? Make me happy. Lavender Bridges, how are you? Your favorite place is wherever your wife is. Wow, how cool is that? Is that a beautiful thing to say? A tribe called death. What's happening, a tribe called death? Evening, well, I guess depending on what part of the world you're from. Is it tomorrow where you're at? A tribe called death? See, you're another person I thought was in the US right down the street. But every time I make that assumption, I mean every time without fail, if I make that assumption, I've made a mistake, which is really kind of funny if you think about it. Lori, good to see you, Lori. Sorry, people, I'm doing a little homework while I'm doing this. Sorry. Yeah, I really, I'm going to have you tell me where you're from, a tribe called Duff, because that's going to drive me insane. I really thought you were a local, but I'm really bad at that. I've really struggled. Joe, good to see you, Joe. I'm guessing that's Joe, Great Britain. Good to have you. Love people from the other side of the pond. Oh, Lori, thank you. You know what? We talk about, even when I talk about a cult or I talk about anything else, this is a show about human connection. That's what this show is about, right? We believe the opposite of addiction is connection. We also believe that connection solves a lot of other problems in life. And that really, hey, Russ, good to see you. That's really the driving force behind the lifeboat. So we do have a little leeway to tackle subjects that are either near and dear to the heart or that we feel are important. And I've been very kind of open and honest about how I feel about that entire movement, right? I've talked about this probably ad nauseum, but we'll do it one more time real quick for people that have just got here. A year ago, I was fighting really hard against this cult, much like I'm kind of doing now, putting up a lot of videos, throwing a lot of crap at them. And I've gotten some emails from some people that said, hey, great to see you. Where have you been? Haven't really fought this in the last year much, have you? And the answer is, I have not. And that's by design. I don't run an anti-Scientology channel. I don't. I hate Scientology, I promise you, but I don't run an anti-Scientology channel. So when do I talk about it? I talk about it when we are fortunate enough that the world shines a flashlight on these dog crap cultists that are running this thing. Whenever that light bulb comes on, I figure it's high time to take advantage of the fact that there are some people that listen to me and get as much of the information disseminated out to the family that is the crew of the lifeboat. That's it, right? And I don't apologize for that, by the way. I'm not a guy that's going to go outside and protest a cult that I wasn't in. I'm not. I hate them. I really do. I hate them. But there are people who I have spoken with, because I am a person that asks questions. Hey, Tommy Bird, good to see you. Jane Aldrich, what's up? Carol Barnhart, good to see you. I've asked people questions like, how do you feel about me doing anti-Scientology stuff as a never-in? And it's really funny because the first time I've asked people that question, every single one of the second gens answered it the exact same way. Yeah, we got no problem with you doing that at all, man. Hammer the crap out of it. Do what you do. It doesn't matter whether you were in it or not in it or whatever the case may be, right? But you really got to get rolling, right? No. After these people get a chance to know you a little bit better and you become friends, I have had conversations with people who have said it's a difficult thing to watch. Not picking on me personally, but saying it is a frustrating thing because this was my girlfriend's life for 36 years. This is the only thing she knew for 36 years. It's got to be hard, right? If anyone's being honest, it's got to be hard if you look at people thinking these people are here to make $1 off of this, that they don't really care whatever I went through. They don't care about the cult itself. This is a money grab. And you know what? We're on the big red button, and anything that starts to show that it gets a lot of views, other people jump on. Now, I will be accused of that all week, I promise you. I don't apologize for it. This absolutely builds the lifeboat. Most of you are here, right, because of the coverage I did on Danny Masterson. Now, in my defense, Danny Masterson was hot, and we were doing 20 or 30,000 views every time we put up a video about him when I stopped doing stuff on it, because it started to feel to me like we were just trying to make money on that. Hey, Marcy, I wasn't trying. I had told everything I could tell about that story. The dude was sitting rotten in prison, right? The story had been run. And at that point, I felt like the only reason I was doing stories on this is because I could make a paycheck on it. So I stopped. And I'm also probably better off as a lone wolf than as a team player. And I don't want to offend anybody that is fighting this cult in the way that they're fighting it. So I'll just do it my way. And I also don't need to bring the baggage of my life, right, into any movement. I'm a convicted bank robber, right? I've done a lot of dirt, and if my presence gives the enemy an opportunity to make the movement look like crap because they're hanging out with this low life, con artist, bank robber, whatever the hell they want to call me, right? I don't see the benefit versus the benefits versus the drawbacks. It starts looking a lot like drawbacks and not a lot like the other side of the prosperous end of it. Russ Allen says, Tommy, from what I've heard from the grapevine, Danny isn't doing too good, but that's for another time. It's funny that you say that because we are getting to the point now that a lot of people are asking about this. Catherine asks a great question, but who cares, Tommy? That's the whole YouTube thing anyway. Am I wrong? No, you're not. You're not. However, I didn't start this channel, whether people want to believe this or not, to ever try to make $1. I started this channel because I felt like I had something to say. And what I had to say, you've heard 5,000 times, right? Because I just continue to talk about it. And that works. When I start to bring stuff in that doesn't have anything to do with my vision, it starts to feel like I'm a bit of a whore, pardon the phrase. But like I'm doing something for money that doesn't really feel right, but I'm just going to continue to do it, right? Then the real paradigm shift happened a year ago, yesterday, when I met the Jane Does, right? The day of Danny Masterson's sentencing, I got to spend some time with a lot of second gens, but also the Jane Does, and it stopped being a story, right? It started to be something now that I felt instead of just saw, and it made me hate this cult and this organization more than anything. So I'm having a pretty good time throwing shit at them again, to be really honest with you. It feels good. It really does. It feels good. And we have been gifted by the universe with another fantastic opportunity to let the world find out about this cult. Marcy, thank you so much. Doing great. I'll take that. You know what? That's you are the people that I need to hear it from. This week, Russ and I are going to come back on and we'll talk about Danny Masterson and we'll talk about prison. We're due for a convict show. In fact, Russ can tell you, we talked about this before the show went live today. We were already discussing this. Ellie J says, thanks so much, mods, for all your hard work. Tommy, it's wonderful to see you. I was getting concerned, but so glad you did self-care and help us. Thank you, Ellie J. I appreciate that. Integrity isn't such a bad way to put it, Tommy Bird. I think that's really what it is. I started feeling like, hi, Vixen. Hey, Chrissy, Never in Newton. Like maybe I was doing this simply for the money. And I never want to feel like I'm a con man. Again, okay? I spent an awful lot of time selling stuff I didn't believe in. I spent an awful lot of time talking about crap that I thought was crap. And I'm not going to do that on the big red button. I'm simply not. This is fun for me to do because these people suck. And if you're new to this and you don't know the story, I'm going to give you enough of it today so that you get it. Ellie J, thanks again. Ellie J is turning people green and making that stuff come down like hot sauce packets. And Sandy Wandy is joining the fray. Excellent. Thank you all so much for the support. Catherine says, I appreciate that because I found you through that coverage. Oh, very cool. I think most people here did. I needed you for what you do, not what you were covering then. I don't care if you did other things for money or growth. Well, that's a beautiful thing. I really appreciate that. And I am doing this for growth. Make no mistake. However, say what you will. My brother is a fairly well-known YouTuber, and people will say that his superpower, if you know my brother, he eats the hottest things on planet Earth. And there's a bunch of people that can do that. Johnny's not unique in the fact that he can eat things that are hotter than anyone else. There's a million people that can eat the stuff that he can eat. Johnny's superpower is that he has the ability to not make a face while he's doing it. While he's in hell and agony and on pain level of 10, he can look at you like this and talk to you about how hot it is. That's a very odd thing, and it makes it a little more interesting to watch. Huh? If I have a superpower left, my superpower is I could listen to you tell a story, and when you're done telling the story, I could probably tell it better. Like, I'm not trying to be a jackass, but that if I have a gift, that's what it is. It's my ability to reframe things. That's why I was a decent public speaker. It's my ability to reframe things in such a way that maybe makes it a little bit more approachable. And I'll take that. I think I'm pretty good at it. So there are some issues that I do feel like it's better off if I can put my spin on it, because I think sometimes it makes it a little bit easier for some people to not understand necessarily, but to feel, right? And I got a lot of comments yesterday from people that said, I was waiting to see if you were going to do this story. And that makes me feel good. It really is one of those things. So here's a quick one. All right. Why the hubbub about all of this crap, and why are we doing it? Because I'm not about to talk about Lincoln Park. We got some other stuff going on, right? But Lincoln Park obviously brought it up because they were bringing in a new lead singer. The new lead singer is a woman named Emily, and she had her own band. She is a second-gen Scientologist, right? So what does that mean? Who cares? I know people who are this religion or that religion. This isn't a religion. This is a cult. What's the difference? The difference is this, air quotes, church forces people to buy their way through the process of the religion. Again, air quotes. So for those out here who are Christians, it would be somebody saying, all right, here's how it goes. So Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. First 5 books of the Bible, they're going to cost you $150 each. And you're going to have to come in and work one-on-one with somebody, right? And they don't let you say no. You say, I don't really have any money. Well, then you're not going anywhere in this religion, right? There won't be any enlightenment. There won't be any paradise. There won't be any whatever the hell you're looking for unless you're buying it. Odd to begin with, yeah? Okay. But on top of that, they do what every other cult does. They start to develop their own language. They start to do everything they can so that you talk differently. You hang out with a completely different group of people. Everything is designed to pull you out of connection with anybody that's not in the cult, right? Because if you talk to normal people, and I'm saying that without air quotes because that's exactly how I feel, right? If you talk to people who are living normally, who aren't in the this kind of a cult, they say things like, I'm sorry, effing what? You spent $50,000 in the last year to take courses, and they're telling you that they're sending you somewhere away from your wife, the things that they do to separate families. And we could talk about this for 6 years and not do enough justice. So we'll just hit it with this one, right? One thing that I love coming back to again and again and again, because it came out in an interview I was doing with Quibbs, and she was reading out of the one of the books that she worked with when she was doing auditing and such in Scientology. And it was about forgiveness. And LRH says, which is really kind of funny because, this is how Scientologists talk to one another. Like, you're having a bad day. Well, LRH says forgiveness, never. How about that? Don't ever forgive anybody, because it lets the person who screwed you over or who did whatever off the hook. So if your mate comes up and says, I'm really sorry, I shouldn't have done X, Y, and Z. This is a religion that says across the board, oh, no, you can't forgive him. We don't do forgiveness. Honestly, do you need to hear any more? Do you need anything more than that? Because that's a pretty good thumbnail, right? You look at Google Earth, right? And as you back up, or you come in close, that's like people, anybody. If you say, how do you feel about forgiveness, right? Good cliches. To err, right? To make a mistake is human. But to forgive is godlike. It's divine. To err is human. To forgive is divine. Almost every culture and every religion says something about freedom being something that is on par with a deity, with God. Normally, like, the ultimate forgiveness is usually in religious circles left to the hands of the deity, right? You ask the Lord for forgiveness, or you ask whatever it is you believe in. They don't believe in forgiveness, and they teach it as a doctrine. Now, there's a cool little machine that they use called the E-meter. This is a like a Temu lie detector test, right? This is a low rent deal that tests galvanic reflux and all. It basically is a crappy lie detector test. And they put people on this and they talk to them and ask them questions as you would in psychotherapy, kind of. There's this little needle on a meter, and they're trying to get that needle to float. And they can keep you in there for hours, asking you questions you would not believe. And very often, the person doing the auditing might be 14 years old, right? This religion believes that all of these creatures, all of us, that we are thetans. We're from another dimension, another galactic confederated universe. And we were brought here and dumped on this earth like a prison planet. And dropped into volcanoes where we were then hit with hydrogen bombs. All of our souls escaped back, and when they were trying to get back up into space, the awful Lord Xenu put soul catchers up in space. They catch these souls, and then they brainwash them, and they show them videos and such, right, to brainwash them. And those videos are things like Christianity and Judaism, and all of the other religions are all just manifestations of Xenu trying to control the thetans on this planet. Not sure why he's doing that, but that's what that's the doctrine. Now, you don't find this out until you're hundreds of thousands of dollars and years of your life pissed down the toilet, right? It's what's called OT levels. This is after you've gone through and done all of this wasted money. You get to the payoff. You're now becoming an operating thetan, OT. You're going to have control of your shit. Now, they tell people that OTs can move mountains. They're superhuman. They can control the will of others. In fact, I'm going to run you a little quote later from LRH. We'll just give it to you now. This is going to be part of what we're talking about today. LRH was quoted as saying that when you do achieve the levels of operating thetan, you will be so advanced above others that you will be able to, the R word that we don't like saying on YouTube because it gets you in trouble, right? You would be able to grape a woman without her even knowing it happened. That one literally dropped me on my ass when I read it last night because it just seems so ironic with everything that's been going on with Masterson and with all of this garbage. But that's one of the things that he said. You will be so in control that you'd be able to, I say a woman without her knowing it. I don't know why that's a payout, but I promise you I'm going to quote that to you later. Here's the interesting thing. Chrissy Never Newton, I have serious things to deal with. Thanks. Thank you for you. You know what? Thoughts and prayers going out to you and to anybody, right, that has serious things that they're dealing with. This is a tough time. Florence, good to see you. Jamie Palmer, Electric Boogaloo, what's happening? Florence Southern, how are you? Gypsy Soul, for the community creator and connection guru. Thank you, Gypsy Soul. I appreciate you more than you can imagine. Yeah, you know what? These are a messed up group of people. However, like everything else, they don't start out that way, right? They don't. Nobody shows up at one of these centers messed up. They show up at these centers as normal people like everybody else. So you walk in the door and they go, okay, here's the deal. You're not going to talk to anybody in your family ever again. We're not going to let you talk to them. You're going to give us all your money. We're going to show you how to take credit cards out so that you can go deeper in debt because you got to buy your way through this bridge to unlimited blah, 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 and freedom and whatnot. Right? So that's not how it goes down. When you get there, they talk about communication, talk about connection, talk about things that are universal. And then they teach you courses, and they're really small ones, and they're itty bitty little incremental stuff that, you know what? They're excellent. Their communication course takes people and makes them far better communicators. And if you ever spent a lot of time talking to people that have, matriculated through Scientology, their ability to communicate is usually not a problem. They're usually pretty good at that. La Chameleon, good to see you. Hey, glad you're here. Candy's Life, what's happening? Debbie P, good to see you. So this is, and by the way, if you're new to the channel, I do this all the time. The roll call thing. We're not a Scientology channel. The channel is about everybody whose name I'm calling out here. And that's no joke. This channel really is about the audience. So if that bums you out, it is what it is. Zal Storm, good to see you. Catherine, because you are a normal, civilized human being, that's why you are constantly surprised. We can't accept this weirdness, to say the least. Yeah, I think that that's a beautiful way to put it. Well done. Amanda, good to see you. The lower levels are all stolen. I'm not sure I understand what that means. Reporting from Mustard Snotface, good to see you. M. Christine, good to see you. This is an organization, right, that is designed for one thing and one thing only, and that is to make a shitload of money. And they really scored when they were able to get the United States of America to say that this is a religion, right? They said that it is a church. And when it became a church, they got to stop paying taxes. And I'm not sure if you understand just how gnarly that is. If you have an entity that is making money in the millions, right, or tens of millions, to have the ability to pull the plug, right? This is a pretty frightening thing. ABV says, YouTube took my like button away and stopped promoting you. I took it back. Well, I'll be damned. The big red button does some odd stuff, but we're sure happy that you're back. We really are. This is a really Kiwi Nan says, everything about the cult of Scientology seems so wrong. Oh, and it is. It is. And the proof of that is in the fact that parents walk away from their kids every day in this cult. Walk away from their kids. At 14, 15, they go, you're on your own. You're a degraded being. You've got nothing to do with this. I am embarrassed to have anything to do with you. You're on your own. If you heard that story once in your lifetime, right, of somebody that you knew who literally turned around and walked away from their kids, you'd go, there's no way. There's no way. This is terrifying to me, that they're so good at what they do that they're able to drive out of you something that Mother Nature hardwired into your body. The desire to take care of your kids, the desire to be a part of a family unit, all of that stuff, we're hardwired for that. Seriously, that's why we're here as a society. We talk about this all the time with addiction, right? Our brain has a way of bonding you to something. It releases a stink load of chemicals that say, you're doing the right thing. Nothing's more important than what you just did, whether that's pick up your baby for the first time or a bag of dope. You understand what I'm saying? This is a terrifying concept. But over time, in small little increments of them taking a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more of who the person is, they eventually get to the point where they have ripped out of you everything that makes somebody human. And I'm not being funny, right? I'm not being funny. They literally steal what makes you a normal human being. And this is why you see the disconnections, right? Most of you here are not new. And most of you know that, I do another channel with my girlfriend. It's called Cults and Crims. You've probably seen her boy. She's got a great kid. He's 14 years old. He's a great child. Not a lifetime ago, but a couple of years ago, right? A little less than a couple of years ago. His grandparents just looked at him and went, never going to see you again. I mean, they didn't have the balls to say that, by the way. They said, oh no, I'm sure that we're going to work this out. While a 14-year-old stood in front of them sobbing and saying, don't do this. You don't need to do this. They've never spoken to him again since. If you think that those people were born that way, then you don't understand the human condition. But if you understand what has happened, that the humanity has been sucked out of these people, they're so afraid of what this cult can do to them. If they were to do something as abhorrent or reprehensible as saying, I'm going to continue to love my grandson, even though you've decided that you're putting him on some kind of a list. No, you're done. You will never talk to him again. You will never see him again. In one day, Reese lost every person she had ever met. All of them. Family, friends, everybody gone in a day. Okay, this is a sick organization. The fact that they do what they do to kids, There's debates going on. There's a group of people that yell that this is human trafficking and there's kids being abused. And there's a group of people who seem to want to debate that. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. These cultists have kids under the age of 18 who are working as volunteers for this cult. Okay, there's your debate. These people work without getting paid and they're under the age of 18. The debate is over, right? That is child abuse at a massive level. We passed laws in this country to ensure crap like that can't happen. Unless, of course, they're volunteers. They're not working, right? There's no exchange of money. They've signed a contract for 1 billion years. That's right, a billion-year contract. So am I making you sick, right? Has this got that kind of vomity feeling in the back of your throat yet? So how have they gotten away with this, Tommy? Well, if I were to read this book and I thought, oh, you know what? It's a pretty decent book. I got quite a bit out of that. I think I'll give it to Spanx, right? Or I'll give it to Kiwi Nan. I give it to whoever I want. Interesting concept is what most people do when they're done reading something. In the cult of Scientology, each person needs to buy their way through each course. And you can't hand anything off or go, you know what? I didn't use this. Oh, they'll kill you for that crap. Like they will go completely nuts. A husband and wife will have to buy the exact same stuff to go through it. They can't work the stuff together. It's the weirdest crap in the world. And it's obviously a money grab, right? A massive money grab. But it starts out so small and so incremental that you don't even realize you're giving it up. Lisa Hill, good to see you. Glad you're here. Just Emma, what's happening? So this is where we're at. This is how they've been able to get away with it, is that they have closed everything off. Nobody talked about it. It was the most secretive religion on earth, right? Nobody talks about it. They're afraid to. They're terrified. Then you go, oh, come on, it's a religion. Okay, when we think religion, maybe you went to church a couple of times, right? Or maybe you go to church all the time. But if that's your mindset for church, stop thinking about that with any kind of resemblance to Scientology, because this isn't what we're talking about, right? If you go to a church and you don't dig it, you walk out. There's no walking out of the cult of Scientology. They make it very, very difficult, right? Very difficult to try to walk out of it. And not just by saying stuff like, no one is ever going to talk to you again. You can't talk to us. If your family happens to be in it, you're going to lose your family. So people are sticking around in this. In some cases, 10, 20 years, end of life, when you should have your feet up and life is good. They're in there because they know they can't leave. That's it. Plus, I think the making people pay for courses and incremental mind games Scientology pulls is a form of trapping people with a form of sunken cost. Oh, yeah, fallacy. Here, yeah, exactly. You're pot committed. Now you've got so much money invested. I mean, and it's by design. You're not wrong on this. I think you're genius. Your observation is because that operating Thetan level, right? Once you've gone through and spent all this money and now you're clear, the state of clear, you've probably heard, this is when they say that there won't be any memories from your past, right? Engrams, they call them, from your past that will be affecting you. Now, these engrams go back to before you can even realize what's up. In fact, if during childbirth, your mom started cursing and screaming, well, that's an engram. And you might still be screwed up with that from that at the age of 54. So we need to go in there and get on these little cans, and they're going to ask you some questions because they got to get you clear. Any of those things from your past that are messing you up in your reactive mind, we got to get rid of all that. That's the principle. Yeah. Okay. Once you do, you have achieved a state of clear. There's none of that crap. Now you can get into what it really means to be a Scientologist and start really working on you because all the BS is over. Unfortunately, the trouble becomes that there are all of those little people that went into the volcanoes, those Thetans. Well, there's a lot more of them than there are people here on Earth. So there are Thetans called body Thetans who attach themselves to you. So right now there could be, 2,000 or 3,000, maybe 100,000, who knows, Thetans attached to you. So not only do you have to deal with the crap from the past, but you have to deal with the crap from their past. one of these body things, for instance, maybe a former criminal, and there's all of the stuff that this person did in their last life that you are now going to have to deal with and audit, which is their psychotherapy, except there's a machine involved. But you're going to have to audit to get rid of the body thetans and their problems. Can you imagine being handed that line of crap after you had 250 grand into it? We know from some people that have been brave enough to actually talk about it after leaving the cult, like Leah Remini, what a shocker that moment is where you find out that, wait a second. So since I started, everybody's been saying, this isn't a religion, right? This is science, man. There's a machine, there's questions, you can see the thing. Nothing spiritual, right? No, what's the word I'm looking for? There's no fable, there's no story, there's no myth, right? No creation myth, none of those things, as far as they know, until they hit Operating Thetan 3. At Operating Thetan 3, the shit hits the fan, and they tell you about Lord Xenu and the Galactic Federation, right? By the way, Tom Cruise, probably the most well-known Scientologist on Earth. I think most people would agree with that, right? Turns out when he heard about it, he went nuts too. I bet you hadn't heard that one before. We're going to talk about that today. We absolutely will talk about, because that's another one of those. I came across some really great nuggets that we're gonna go over 7 really creepy things about Scientology today. And that one of them has to do with Tom Cruise. Apparently, he wasn't really happy when he found out about all that science fiction BS. Geoplanet Jane says Reese seems to think that engrams were a real thing. Well, you know what? They are to a point, right? Everything LRH did has gotten, because he stole everything. The guy never created a thing in his life. Everything is an amalgamation of all of these different theories and religions and things that he had, that had come into his sphere at some point during his life. And he took all of this crap and threw it into one big pot and stirred it up. And this is what we came out with. But obviously, things that happen to us in our life leave an effect. And I talk about it all the time on the Lifeboat. If you don't deal with things when they happen, you're going to deal with them, right? So he uses his own words for everything. Is it an engram? I've never thought of it in that term, but unresolved trauma causes people to do dope. This has been a reality of my life before I got sober and after I get sober, dealing with people who have had the same problems, right? There are engrams of sorts, things from our past that we didn't deal with at the time that tend to screw us up. And the reason that I advocate so hard for journaling, and the reason I advocate so hard for group interaction and not suffering in silence and connection, is because I do believe that unresolved trauma is what F's up our entire life. But I don't believe that unresolved trauma started before they had snipped my umbilical cord. I got a real struggle with that one, right? But, and I happen to not be of the camp that believes I'm dealing with, unresolved trauma of literally thousands of souls, for lack of a better way to put it, who have attached themselves to me. That's not one that, sadly, I can't get myself to that. It's a bridge too far to cross, I guess. Lisa Trimble, thank you so much for turning people green. So 1 second. So where does that leave us? Well, how do they get away with it for so long? If it's this bad, and it is, how do they get away with it, right? If they kick everybody out of the cult when someone decides to leave, don't those people go out and say, you can't believe how bad this is? You need to get away. This is no. Sorry, Jen Marie. Did I still, that does happen sometimes. I've been known to go live and find out that no one's there, and I always think, I wonder who's live. Sorry about that. So one of the ways that they've been able to do this is they have a policy they call fair game. And this is one of the things that really has made them more famous than anything else. The fair game policy says, you destroy your enemies. Destroy them, capiche? In any means necessary. And they emphasize the ever-loving hell out of the phrase, any means necessary. You can make stuff up, right? You can do, Irrelevant Panther, good to see you. Marcy, nice to see you. You can make stuff up You can call them whatever you want. You can lie wholesale. But the idea is you have to trash these people, right? So this policy of theirs, which is written down, this isn't an unwritten rule. This is written down. This. I think I'll talk about this. Hold on one second. Yeah, no forgiveness as well, right? I'll be honest with you. I don't know that I'm feeling better, but I was talking to Quibbs about this earlier. My struggles currently have to do with my inability to remember things. That's kind of become. Hello, Judy Bug. Good to see you. That's really where the problem comes in, right? So when I'm sitting here and I'm talking to a camera in front of me, the interaction is really different. It really is. This is we were joking, but Quib said to me, you should just go live like 7 times a day, because at this point, this is kind of my happy place. I know it's probably messed up, but at this point, I am considerably happier sitting right here in front of the camera than I am if it was somewhere else. Yeah. Uh-oh. After the show, keep an eye out for a bonus short looking back at who September 7th, 2023 was really about. And it wasn't about, okay, I'm looking forward to that. You know what? I love what you've been putting out. I really do. I've had an awful lot of shorts and a lot of compliments on them, but the shorts that you've been putting out have been nothing less than phenomenal. It is brain fog, Kelly. It's exactly what it is. So the way that they've been able to stay in business is to do everything within their power to make it so that people cannot leave. Capiche? There's no way they can get out, and they're terrified to get out. Then, if a reporter has the audacity to write an article or a book or anything like that about the cult, destroy them, right? Go through their trash, do whatever you have to do, spend whatever money you have to spend, and you can because it's tax-free. They got a lot of it, especially because every single person has to buy their way through this religion, right? They've got billions of dollars, and I'm not exaggerating, billions in their war chest, billions of tax-free dollars, and a hell of a lot of real estate. But they will bring down the forces of hell on anybody that decides to mess with them. I picked my fight with the cult of Scientology a year ago, and they've had a lot of fun with me. Margie Barr, good to see you. And I'm a tough sell because I come on here and tell everybody my entire past, right? What they worry about. I mean, what they do usually is try to find the skeletons in the closet. If they don't find one, they'll make one up. I don't care. I promise you the truth doesn't get in the way of their destroying somebody or trying to. But here's the deal. They're losing their effectiveness, right? They're losing their effectiveness. There are 380 people here and about 20,000 that are still on the lifeboat crew, regardless of every lie and chunk of crap that they've thrown at me, no matter who they pay to put videos up about us. It's not doing any good. Truth is starting to win out. Believe it. And I'll tell you something. Do you know what happens when people stand up and say, screw you, you're not going to back me down? Other people say, screw you, you're not going to back me down either. Right? The Jane Does, God bless them. The Jane Does have started a forest fire that is going to take this thing out. And if you don't see that, let me see if I can't convince you. People don't write books. People don't make magazine articles. Mainstream media avoids the cult of Scientology by a mile and a half because it's going to get ugly, right? This cult, for lack of a better word, has lost their ability to make people afraid. I think the Jane Does did a lot to help that, right? Really did a lot to help that. But now there are so many channels on YouTube that are thrashing this cult. There are protesters who are going out to the buildings. There are so many people that are taking this fight seriously that the cult's kind of in trouble, right? Aaron Smith Levin, whom I'm sure all you know, growing up in Scientology, it's probably how most of you found me. I was a guest 4 or 5 times on his channel a year ago, talking about the masters and stuff. But he has done a remarkable job of starting an industry, right, and a movement. This they call themselves SPTV, right? SP as in this is an SP is somebody that is kicked out of the cult. And his group of people have been super effective. And what they've done, and keep in mind, he's been doing this a long time, but it's only been a couple of years that it's really started to kind of gain momentum, right? And what he's done is created an army of channels that are going out and attacking this cult. And the more that people do, the less mainstream America or mainstream the world starts feeling the same fear they used to, right? Janet Reitman, if you guys know that name, Janet Reitman. Janet Reitman is an author, and if the name is a little familiar in your head, she did write a book that got some traction called The Nazi Next Door, which is a book that talks about the kind of the rise of white supremacy among the youth in this country. Great book, by the way. I read it when I was not free yet. She's a writer for Rolling Stone magazine. Beautiful lady and a damn good author. She has just written a book, and this one's going to hurt him. Xenotax. I was interrogated on the e-meter many times. As a bookstore officer, I was shouted at 2 times a day by a SO member. I tried to leave one and was manhandled, right, and held tightly by the director. My arms were so bruised. Are you hearing this? Right? No problem whatsoever. In physically assaulting a woman, it's hard to wrap your brain around. It really is. And one of the things that I think is difficult, right? It has been a difficult hill to climb, is that this just doesn't sound like it could be real, right? It doesn't sound like it could be real. But it is, and we know it is, right? Now, because of the internet, because of this, because of South Park, funny, right? South Park made an episode where they told everybody exactly what a Scientologist who gets through the OT levels, the operating Thetan levels, what do they believe? They told the whole world. This was the world's biggest secret. Even people in the cult didn't know. By the way, people in the cult still don't know, right? Still don't know. When Quibsy got kicked out, she didn't have any idea that there was anybody called Xenu. She didn't. She had heard, murmurings, and Quibs, right? She went to him and said, "Hey, what's the deal with this Xenu thing?" And they said to her, this is just those things that, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to offend anybody. They call us WOGSs. I know that that's not a nice term in some countries. That is what they call us, or bags of flesh. But their response was, that's something that the wogs made up, right? They're just trying to trash the religion. They lie to their own people, which is terrifying, isn't it? Cats, bats, and flowers. Good to see you. And I'm sorry that you endured that, Arwa. I really am. I'm really happy that you're here, right? This is the people that have made it out. The people that have made it out of this religion are some of the kindest and most beautiful souls that I've ever met. So much so that it dramatically changed my life. I mean, it really has. Obviously the woman that I'm with is in second gen escapee from the cult of Scientology. A great number of my friends are former Scientologists, and those who aren't are probably fighting against the cult of Scientology. This has absolutely become a thing for me. Sending flyby. I love taking a break, but wanted to send love to the boat. Indigo Insights. What a cool thing. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate that. I mean it. I love it when people say stuff like that. If they pop in to say hi, or there are people that come in and say, "Hey, just wanted to leave a message a comment to feed the algorithm to help you guys out." As a content creator, I'm not sure if you can understand what a big deal that is. I really don't think you can. Anyway, this September, if you're paying attention, that's this month. This September, a book is coming out by Janet Reitman. By the way, you can get this book now. It is available. And the name of the book is Scientology, the Story of America's Most Secretive Religion. People, this is a book that in the past, people would not have wanted to have anything to do with writing. I promise you. This is something that scares the hell out of journalists. Journalists don't want to take assignments to write about the cult because they're going to get beat on. They're going to get attacked. They're going to get all kinds of crap that's going to do them in. They're not ready to take that leap. Janet Reitman, not worried about it at all. That's bold, right? I'll tell you what else is bold. You know how I found out about this? There's an article this month in GQ magazine. GQ magazine is writing an article about the cult of Scientology, and I think it's called "Still Creepy." I think is what the name of the article was, which I find really, really funny. Anyway, you know, that's just good stuff. Hold on here, people. Sorry. You know what? That is the nature of life right there. Hold on one second. Lady Hawk says, I was a public Scientologist and on staff. We were all lied to. It's terrifying, right? You're paying to be in a religion that systematically lies to you while you pay them to do it. And they will abuse you, not just mentally and psychologically, but physically, right? Like you just heard Arwa say. They had a prison. They had a built segregated housing unit, right? In prison, we call it the SHU, the segregated housing unit, the hole. They had one they called the hole. First time I heard that, I was like, that's the dumbest thing in the world, right? I'm like, that's not prison. They're sticking you in a room in some office building. There were people who spent years in that room. No joke, years. Kathy Ann put up a link. Scientology, still creepy. That please do get a look at that link. And I'll tell you what, I'm not going to read to you the 7 things I was going to. I'm not going to read to you the 7 things that make Scientology creepy. And I'm not doing this to make you have to go read. Hold on one second. Nancy, good to see you. Long time since I posted, but been lurking. Hello, chat. Tommy. Thank you, mods. Emotional abuse and grief. Been triggered for a while. So I socialize in an isolating manner. You know what? I respect that. It's boundaries, right? It's self-boundaries, and that's a good thing. If it's something that's going to trigger you, then don't do it. I'll tell you why I'm not going to. There's a bunch of excerpts and things that I wanted to read from this book. I'm not going to because my phone chirping was somebody who happens to be in my here on the lifeboat. We say that everybody who's trying to better their life should have 5 people they can call at any time if they feel like they're going to use, or if they feel like they're going to hurt themselves, or they just feel like they need to talk to somebody. It's designed to make sure that nobody ever suffers in silence. And we take it pretty damn seriously. And sadly, I haven't done a live feed that had 400 people in it in a long time, but I'm not going to keep doing it because the person that just reached out to me is not in a great place. And sadly, this is what we do. And it's, as much as I hate the cult of Scientology, this is more important at the moment. So I love you guys, and I'm going to revisit this. I really wanted to. I'm not done, so I will revisit this. It probably won't be today, I don't think, depending on our friend here. But I really gotta do to help my friend. It's just the right thing to do. I love you guys. I hate this cult. We're going to keep talking about it. But L. Ron Hubbard did say, right, we're at the end of this. You can check the if you go to that link, you're going to see the 7 things that they decided to highlight. And one of them is that Scientology is going to make you so smooth and so cool that you'll be able to rape a woman and she won't even know what happened. The fact that somebody said that out loud is a pretty frightening concept as a sales pitch, right? Like that's a good thing. It should give you a pretty good snapshot of who this lowlife is, right? And I'll be visiting him again, I promise. We're not done throwing crap at him no matter what. All right. I love you guys. I will be seeing you tonight for sure. And we will be getting back to this, I promise. Yeah, there's definitely a boat tonight. Between now and then, do me a favor and reach out and try to save somebody. All right. God bless. All right.